At the beginning of the story, we meet a hacker named Bill. Right now, he's breaking into the police CCTV system. One officer notices strange activity on his screen, but he assumes it's just a minor glitch and ignores it. Then suddenly, alarms start blaring across the station. The police quickly learn that a major bank robbery has just taken place. They immediately send their best tactical team to the scene and activate their advanced AI surveillance system called SPICE. The computer scans every camera across the city and finally locates the robber's getaway car. But when the officers look closely, the thieves appear completely empty-handed. Several police units rush toward the location, but by the time they arrive, the streets are empty. Meanwhile, back at the station, the robber's car is somehow still moving on the screens. That's when the officers realize the terrifying truth. The surveillance system itself has been hacked. The thieves escaped long ago. The next day, investigators discovered that only one vault inside the bank was targeted. It belonged to a wealthy businessman who had hidden half the password to his $500 million crypto account inside a notebook. Soon after, the thieves storm a digital finance company inside a building called Macau Tower. They brutally beat several employees before taking the entire office hostage. One worker is forced to open the main security door while Mac uses a computer to send Bill all the company's data. That's when they discover the company handles accounts for some of the most powerful people in the country, including the owner of the nation's largest crypto company. One account alone contains over $10 billion. Even though their leader John tells him not to, Bill orders Mac to copy that information too. But at that exact moment, the police arrive. The gang immediately runs toward the elevators. Meanwhile, John stays behind in a cafe lobby to avoid suspicion and quietly escape. However, a woman accidentally photographs him while taking pictures on her phone. As soon as the gang exits the elevator, chaos erupts. Police officers chase them through the building while terrified civilians scatter in every direction. The criminals shove people aside while desperately searching for an exit, but eventually they hit a dead end and the officers corner them. A brutal fight breaks out. During the battle, the thieves capture Captain Sam as a hostage. The officers can't risk shooting him, so they're forced to watch helplessly as the criminals escape with Sam inside the elevator. Outside, John tells his driver to leave even though the rest of the gang hasn't returned yet. As the elevator reaches the upper floors, Sam fights back again. But he's alone against 4 criminals. They overpower him, handcuff him, and continue running toward the rooftop. Soon, Sam manages to free himself and chases after them. But the gang came prepared with parachutes. Without hesitation, they leap straight off the tower. During the escape, one of the thieves knocks a woman over the edge, leaving her hanging for her life. Sam is forced to stop and save her. The elevators have already been hacked, so Sam crashes into a window cleaning platform and rides it safely down the side of the building. The thieves land on a nearby hotel rooftop, but another police team is already waiting for them there. A massive fight explodes across the roof. The criminals easily overpower the officers and use special tools and masks to escape again. Afterward, they quickly change clothes while Bill wipes every security recording connected to the SPICE system. Soon, the city's entire CCTV network goes dark. With no cameras left, Sam begins searching the hotel on foot. The officers attach cameras to their own bodies so facial recognition software can scan every person they pass. At the same time, John arrives at the hotel in disguise and creates distractions to pull attention away from his crew. The thieves constantly switch disguises, pretending to be tourists, staff members, and random guests while moving between rooms. Eventually, Sam spots Mac. Because of their earlier fight in the elevator, Sam recognizes Mac's earring and immediately chases after him. But Mac blends into a crowded cafe area and disappears among the customers. Then suddenly, the surveillance software flags a face that doesn't exist in the system. Police rush after the suspicious man. John deliberately bumps into an officer, fogging up the camera lens just long enough for Mac to escape. The police split into teams to pursue both suspects. But Mac disguises himself as a woman while another thief pretends to be an old man, allowing them to slip away unnoticed. At that moment, a huge light show begins in the lobby. The remaining thieves disguise themselves as security guards and blend into the crowd. As soon as officers close in, the criminals dive beneath the platform and escape once again. Back at the station, the furious businessman starts screaming and smashing objects after discovering his crypto account has been emptied. During a strategy meeting, Inspector Lara suggests bringing back their retired boss. Sam laughs at the idea, asking how an old man could possibly compete against AI criminals. But Lara reminds him that Spice has already been hacked and made useless. Now they need someone who understands old-school police work. So Officers Rock and Helen are sent to recruit the legendary former Agent Wong. His file is filled with unbelievable achievements. He was once considered one of the greatest surveillance officers alive. But his career carries one dark stain. His partner died because of him. When Rock and Helen arrive at Wong's neighborhood, they're shocked to find him casually walking dogs. Helen secretly follows him into a cafe while pretending to be a student. But Wong immediately sits at her table and reveals that he noticed both her and Rock following him all day. He even knows Helen's name. Then we learn Helen is actually the daughter of Wong's dead best friend and former partner. They haven't seen each other since she was a child. Wong congratulates her for inheriting her father's badge number before pointing out every mistake she and Rock made while tailing him. He even stole Rock's badge without him noticing. Later, Wong arrives at the station and reviews the collected footage. After only a few minutes, he identifies every thief. Wong explains that each criminal briefly looked toward the CCTV cameras to check whether they were still active. That tiny habit exposed them. Meanwhile, at their hideout, John viciously beats Bill for wasting time and nearly getting them caught. When Mac tries defending Bill, John shoves him away too. After hiding in darkness for years, Mac's face was finally captured on camera. The argument escalates into a violent fight, and John even pulls out a knife before the others manage to calm him down. Back at the station, Wong studies every available screenshot and notices a mysterious man in a long coat appearing repeatedly in the footage. The police also recover the photo taken by the woman at the lobby. Everyone concludes the man must be connected to the gang. That's when Wong remembers a legendary former agent known only as Shadow. During wartime, Shadow served on an elite assassination team before abandoning the military in search of wealth. He disappeared without a trace in 1999. Wong believes the mysterious man may actually be Shadow returning after all these years. He asks for a surveillance team to track him down, only to discover modern police departments barely use human surveillance anymore because AI handles everything now. Even so, the department puts Wong in charge of building a brand new team for this case. Wong doubts anyone can be properly trained in such little time. Later, Helen practices in the gym while other officers mock her, claiming she's too small to be a cop. At first, she ignores them. Then she finally snaps. A fight breaks out, and Helen easily humiliates one officer in front of everyone. Wong witnesses the entire thing and later congratulates her privately, saying she earned his respect. That evening, Wong drinks alone on the rooftop while remembering Helen's father. Silently, he promises his dead friend that he'll protect her. The next day, Wong officially begins training his new surveillance unit, including Helen. He teaches them how to walk naturally without looking like police officers and how to memorize every tiny detail around them. No matter how dangerous things become, they must remain invisible. On their first day in the field, the team pretends to be ordinary civilians while maintaining surveillance. But Wong keeps Helen hidden inside the van with him. She's his secret weapon. Whenever any member makes a mistake, Wong immediately tears into them with harsh criticism. 12 days later, Bill prepares one final mission so John can finally retire in peace forever. He discovers the server location connected to the CEO's digital vault. But reaching the crypto wallet won't be easy. Then the story flashes back several years. We learn all the thieves were once orphans. John regularly visited them and gave them money. Back in 1999, the boys helped John escape from police pursuit, and ever since then they've stayed together like family. On the 15th day of surveillance, Helen leaves the van to buy food. While returning, she spots several drunk men harassing women on the street. Wong reminds her they're undercover and tells her to call local police instead. But Helen ignores him and confronts the men herself. Another violent fight begins. She lands several strong punches, but there are simply too many attackers. Then Wong suddenly steps in and beats the men down before driving them away. Back inside the van, Wong furiously scolds Helen for almost ruining the mission. Helen argues that they aren't doing real police work. So Wong finally tells her what happened to her father. Years earlier, Wong and Helen's father spent 8 months undercover on a dangerous mission. Young Wong became impatient from waiting so long. One day, he saw criminals trying to kidnap a child and rushed in recklessly to stop them. The gang nearly killed him. Helen's father tried to save Wong, but before escaping, the kidnappers shot him dead. With tears in his eyes, Wong explains that police officers must think carefully before acting. Soon after, Wong believes he spots John inside a local market and immediately alerts the team. Everyone moves to surround the area. Wong orders Helen to stay closest to the target because she's the only officer John has never seen before. When John nearly notices 2 undercover cops, they instantly pretend to kiss each other to avoid suspicion. Helen pretends to search the ground and secretly confirms John's identity by recognizing his shadow. Wong warns everyone not to turn around or move the cameras directly toward him. As a result, John leaves without realizing he's being followed. The team quietly tails him like shadows and discovers which building he enters. Helen decides to follow him inside too. John immediately grows suspicious and slowly pulls out a knife. Back at the surveillance feed, Wong notices John looked at Helen twice. Realizing he may recognize her, Wong rushes into the building and pretends to be Helen's father. During the conversation, Wong secretly removes Helen's Bluetooth earpiece while speaking casually with John. He even offers John an apple. Hidden inside the fruit is a tiny camera that captures a clear image of John's face. Then Wong bites off the section containing the camera and throws it away, joking that the apple tastes sour. Still, John keeps watching them carefully. To avoid suspicion, Wong breaks into a random apartment and drags Helen inside. The terrified resident panics, forcing Wong to silence her. Using the hidden camera that John spat on earlier inside the elevator, the team discovers which floor he exited on. Rock quickly installs cameras around the area, allowing them to identify John's apartment number. Unit 82. Now the police can finally make their next move. Wong's team rents an apartment across the street to monitor John around the clock and even steal his trash. Inside, they find torn Sudoku puzzles everywhere. None of them can solve the mystery. Meanwhile, John spends his free time popping bubble wrap. Later, Wong continues pretending to be John's friendly neighbor at the market. During conversation, John secretly searches Wong's body while chatting about their fake personal lives. As they shake hands, John comments that Wong's hands are unusually rough. He jokingly asks if Wong shoots guns for a living. Thinking quickly, Wong laughs it off and says he's simply exercised since childhood. Then Wong invites John over for dinner. Surprisingly, John accepts. That evening, Wong and Helen pay the woman whose apartment they borrowed earlier. When John arrives, he scans every corner for hidden devices. During dinner, John places his phone on the table, so Helen does the same and quietly steals information from his device. John continuously asks personal questions, testing whether their stories match. Because Wong knows Helen's real childhood memories, their lies sound completely believable. For the first time, Helen realizes Wong has secretly protected her from a distance all these years. After leaving dinner, John orders Bill to investigate Wong and Helen's history. The police expected hacking attempts, so they already prepared fake identities for both of them. A few minutes later, someone knocks on the door. Wong opens it and finds Tim standing outside. Bill's twin brother. A violent fight instantly erupts. Wong manages to knock away Tim's gun, but Tim immediately pulls out another one and starts firing nonstop. Wong barely survives as the brutal fight continues through the apartment. Meanwhile, Bill watches calmly through security screens because this entire situation was part of his plan. During dinner, John hacked Helen's phone, giving Bill live access to police station cameras. The surveillance team across the street sees nothing suspicious because Bill feeds them fake footage. They only realize something is wrong when Helen suddenly walks into the room even though she's supposedly still visible on the monitors. The team rushes over immediately. Bill warns his brother that the cops are coming. Tim begins spraying bullets everywhere to pin Wong down before escaping through the balcony using special cables. The next day, the surveillance operation resumes while other officers search John's apartment. They discover an entire closet filled with bubble wrap, and Wong suddenly realizes it connects to the Sudoku puzzles. Then disaster strikes. A truck crashes directly into the surveillance van, sending it spinning into the police building. The truck splits apart before slamming into the van again and knocking everyone unconscious. A group of armed attackers pours out and launches a full-scale assault. Several officers are killed while bombs destroy police vehicles outside. Laura quickly realizes the attack is only a distraction. She orders the surveillance team to stay focused on locating John. Helen regains consciousness and drags Wong out of the wrecked vehicle. She grabs a gun and joins the fight, taking down multiple enemies with deadly accuracy. Soon, Wong wakes up too and helps her eliminate the remaining attackers inside the room. Then Wong finally understands the puzzle. The Sudoku sheets contained hidden Braille code, and John used bubble wrap to decode it. Wong tells Helen to contact the intelligence unit immediately. Meanwhile, the remaining attackers continue pushing deeper into the police station. At the same time, two surveillance members locate John at an old orphanage. Just as Lara prepares to give orders, the station suddenly loses power and communication completely collapses. Inside the orphanage, John is surrounded by armed men and realizes Bill betrayed him. Even at his age, John remains terrifyingly dangerous. Using only his knife, he battles multiple enemies at once, though he still suffers several injuries. Back at the station, Wong keeps fighting through waves of attackers who specifically target him because a huge bounty has been placed on his head. Still, Wong kills many of them. Helen quietly sneaks through the building until she finds a satellite phone and contacts Rock about the Braille code. But suddenly, a female assassin attacks her. After a fierce struggle, Helen throws the woman out the window and finally wins. Luckily, backup forces arrive and the police eventually end the battle. At the orphanage, John finishes killing every attacker after a savage fight. Furious, he points his knife directly at the security camera. Then Tim suddenly arrives and admits the betrayal was his idea. Bill panics because Tim's involvement was never part of the plan. Tim believes leaving John alive is too dangerous, so he attacks him. The two master fighters clash violently before crashing through a window together. Tim notices a knife buried in his stomach. He tries turning the blade against John, but John reverses the attack and kills the boy he once considered his favorite son. Outside, police begin surrounding the orphanage. With no other options left, Bill activates the final part of the plan. An explosion erupts. Later, Lara reveals that after the previous mission, she transferred the CEO's crypto assets into a secure police digital vault. But when they inspect the vault now, it's empty. The thieves disguised themselves as backup officers. While everyone else focused on rescuing the wounded, the gang stole the fortune. At the orphanage, John crawls out of the rubble alive and mourns Tim's death. Police surround him. This time, John peacefully surrenders and says he's ready to confess. Back at the station, Lara reactivates Spice. The AI quickly tracks down the thieves' van. Police chase them all the way back to the same hotel from earlier. The criminals split up in different directions. Wong locates Bill inside a laundry room, and the two immediately begin fighting. Then two more thieves jump in to protect Bill and tell him to escape while they handle Wong. The pair fight in perfect synchronization, making it difficult even for Wong to keep up. Outside, Helen notices a massive public event nearby and realizes Bill is probably hiding inside the crowd. But she can't find him. Inside the police van, Sam returns John's phone and orders him to call Bill. Unfortunately, the criminals' devices can't be traced. So Helen must physically identify whoever is speaking on the phone. Bill realizes the police are baiting him and immediately starts moving again. Helen suddenly remembers Wong explaining how criminals instinctively glance toward cameras. Meanwhile, Wong finally defeats the two thieves in the laundry room by knocking one unconscious and trapping the other inside a washing machine. Back in the police van, John deliberately drops the phone and attacks the officers. He activates a gas grenade, creating enough chaos to escape. Elsewhere, Rock finds Helen and gives her his spare earpiece before continuing the search. Moments later, Wong mistakenly grabs the wrong person, thinking he's Bill. Bill had switched clothes with someone else. Right now, the real Bill is entering a train station with Rock close behind him. Before Rock can warn the team, John suddenly appears and stabs him. Then John catches up to Bill and repeatedly stabs him too. Before dying, Bill reveals the crypto password. At the same time, police arrest the remaining thieves in the laundry room. Helen eventually finds Rock, but he dies from his injuries. Sometime later, the police still have no leads on John because the stolen crypto hasn't been moved. Wong explains that John belongs to the old generation. He probably doesn't even know how to cash out cryptocurrency properly. That realization gives Helen an idea. Together, she and Wong secretly watch the businessman whose account was stolen. While Wong steps away to buy food, Helen notices the businessman heading toward a hotel. She follows him and discovers John plans to exchange the password for money. The meeting will happen at a tea house the next afternoon. Instead of waiting for backup, Helen goes alone. John immediately recognizes her. She stalls for time with casual conversation, but John overhears hidden communications and quickly knocks her unconscious before attempting to escape through the back door. But Wong is already waiting there. John responds by attacking innocent customers with his knife as Wong confronts him. Panic spreads throughout the tea house as the two men launch into a savage fight. John stabs Wong multiple times. Wong throws boiling soup at him to slow him down while both men grab nearby objects and use the cafe itself as weapons. Tables crash. Dishes shatter. The fight becomes completely insane. John finally lunges forward with his knife and nearly kills Wong. But Wong manages to shove him backward. Just then, Helen regains consciousness, and both men crash through the collapsing floor. John prepares to finish Wong once and for all. But Helen strikes him from behind. John instantly turns toward her. Wong rushes to protect Helen, and during the struggle, John's knife slices across Wong's neck. Terrified, Helen checks the wound. Thankfully, it isn't deep enough to kill him. But during the distraction, John escapes again. Using everything Wong taught her, Helen tracks John down one final time. Backup units arrive and block every road around the area. John charges at Helen with his knife once more. But this time, Helen understands his movements perfectly. She counters him and slams him to the ground. At last, John is arrested. But the story still isn't over. In the final twist, we discover Bill and Tim actually had a third twin brother who was adopted overseas as a child. After hearing the password through station security cameras, the third brother unlocks the crypto account. Then he uses the money to place bounties on Wong, Helen, and John to avenge his brother's deaths.